Well, Fresh Baked, it's that time of year for Disneyland to increase their ticket prices, and that means that it's also that time of year for everyone to get offended and to really think about whether or not this is the year that they're going to give up going to Disneyland because it just costs too much. I say that in jest, of course, because if you've been paying attention to what's happening with ticket prices at Disneyland for the past few years, actually, if you've been paying attention for any period of time, since the beginning of time, basically, let's just say since the 90s, the early 90s, you would know that this is something that happens every single year right around this time, February. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Not so much the prices going up, but it's people's reactions to the prices going up. And what I want to do is try to give some people who are on the fence a little perspective about what the price, how Disneyland manages their prices. So first, let's talk about what did happen. The prices, they went up. Everything went up a little bit. Single price, single day tickets went up from $95 to $97 for the base ticket, the slow period of the year. They went up from $105 to $110 for that moderate level time of year, and from $119 to $124 for peak. Also, parking went up from $18 to $20. What about annual passes? The SoCal Select, the very bottom tier of annual passes, went from $329 to $339, while the regular SoCal Pass went up another $10 from $459 to $469. The Deluxe Pass, which has fewer blackout dates than the SoCal, but still has quite a few weekends in the summer and stuff like that, went from $599 to $619. And then finally, the Signature Pass and the Signature Plus Pass were not affected at all. There's no price change at all in those passes. That's the ones that we use at Fresh Baked. To me, the most important observation that we can take from this, or at least that I took from this, was that Disneyland is still very much interested in maintaining an annual pass holder base, that they want to keep us as customers. One of the things that people forget, they tend to say often when it comes to comparing an annual pass holder to a single day a ticket purchaser, is that those single day purchasers spend more money in the park. And that may be true on a per ticket basis. That are still spending less per year, overall, because we're going more often. Annual passengers go more often than we would if we bought only a single day, ticket at a time. And that means in the big picture, the longer run, we're going to spend more money. But more importantly, that's guaranteed income that they can put on the books every year. They know exactly how much money they're going to make, and that's a quantifiable number. And let me tell you something: bottom line watchers, who Disney they love the bottom line. Bottom line watchers love having guaranteed income. And that's what an annual pass holder base is. It's guaranteed income. You don't know for sure how many people are going to buy a ticket on a day-to-day basis, but they know exactly how many annual pass holders they have, and they know exactly how much they're going to earn from them over a year's period. So that's one reason why they're going to keep catering. I don't know if catering is the right word, but they're going to definitely enjoy that annual pass holder base. Now, secondly, as it applies to annual pass holders, they made a point of noting in the announcement that they are going to maintain the monthly payment option. There was a rumor just last week that went around, and they've already answered that rumor, apparently, at least for this year, that the monthly payment plan is going to be there. And that, again, tells you that they want that annual pass business because they're trying to encourage more of it by giving us that option to pay monthly. So we have at least a 1-year reprieve on that. So now let's talk about a topic that is sensitive to a lot of Disneyland fans out there, and that is of the price increases that we see so often from Disneyland. Actually, I'd like to think of this as something of an intervention for you guys because every year it's a season of ticket prices and then revolt, especially now in the age of social media. The responses to this yearly occurrence, it baffles me a little bit. Not necessarily that they're angry, but that it's like some kind of surprise. Here are some responses, some Twitter responses. The OC Register was one of the first to get an article out about the price increases, and they posted it on their Twitter feed. And here are some of the responses that they got on Twitter. Disneyland announced increase on ticket prices again. Soon I'll have to sell my car to be able to afford to go there. Hashtag ridiculous. Hashtag Disney. Hashtag come on now. Really? Disneyland, you are making it so hard for me to stay an annual pass holder. Here's another one. I like this one. Every time I turn around, they're raising their prices. Disneyland is a legit $200 date, and I'm sick of them. Every time you turn around. Well, I've got news for you, which we're going to get to in just a second, because if you're turning around just once a year, then it's not every time. And finally, Disneyland just raised their prices again. It's becoming a joke. SoCal, low-income families need to stand and boycott. You can do that, definitely. And I encourage everyone who's upset about Disneyland prices to boycott, to use their wallet as their voice. However, you're not, are you? Are you? Because we just set another record for attendance this year at Disneyland, and it is more crowded than ever. But, I don't want to say that I disagree with the sentiment that, of anger towards the prices. I don't like the prices being as expensive as they are. It's a lot of money, and I feel bad for people who can't afford it. Because I think that, or I wish that Disneyland could be enjoyed by everybody, but it's a small park, and demand is really high. And what are they supposed to do? I don't know. But what I do disagree with is this idea, this notion that Disneyland is evil in that sense, or that they're doing this to you. And really, they're not doing anything that any other company in America would do in their position that aren't already doing themselves in other arenas. Take a look at movie ticket prices. It is, I sent my boy to go see Lego Batman. It cost me $13 for the ticket. I gave him $10 for popcorn and a soda, and it wasn't enough. $10 for popcorn and a soda. It's cheaper than that at the park. Popcorn and a soda is less than $10 at Disneyland. It was $14 to get a popcorn and a Coke at the movie theater. It costs $1, by the way, to make popcorn. I'm just saying. Baseball games, football games, everybody's getting priced out. That's how it is today. It's not Disneyland that's doing this. It's just part of the economy. These are a captive audience. Entertainments have a captive audience. People want this really bad. So they get to name their price, basically. Further, it has nothing to do with class in terms of their choice. I guess you could say that it does in the sense that people who are poor can't afford it. But people who are poor can't afford a lot of things. So I don't know how that's necessarily Disney's fault. And it's not ridiculous either. Because that's the other tone we get, is that this is ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. It's business. Let me go back and show you. I want to talk to that guy who said every time he turns around, ticket prices are going up. Take a look at this grid. And this grid details pricing from 1990 through the present. And you'll see, without having to look too difficult, that the price increases are very consistent. Take a look at this. 1990 was $25. 1996 was $34. 99, $39. And then it goes up every year on this grid for a good, some $2, $3, $4 every year. Not a lot. It's a small amount, but it's consistent. They've raised their prices, whether or not attendance has gone up or down or anything else. It's just something they do every single year. On average, $3 a year. On average. If I had said next year prices are going to go up $3, you'd be okay with that, wouldn't you? I think you would. It seems like a reasonable thing. But when we look at it in hindsight, we just, oh my God, again, they're doing it again. $110 is a lot, no doubt about it. I get it. It is a lot. But it's the idea that there's some guy who's just twisting the screws back there at Disney doing this to you. It's just not like that. If anything, Disneyland prices are historically consistent. It's funny, actually. So, when you see this, the comments towards this, I did a lot of research. I went back and looked back at some of the announcements for the ticket prices going quite a ways back. Check this out. I may be willing to pay that much, but I wonder how much the average guest has left in their wallets. Now that sounds familiar, right? They said that in 2009. How about this one? It isn't a cheap thrill. In fact, Disneyland gets more expensive every year. When do you think they said that? That comment was made in 1990. In 1990, right? Now here's one a little more current, coming back current, in 2011. Some Disney fan sites have speculated that the company is hiking prices to decrease the number of pass holders who may cause crowding in the parks. Yeah, people have been saying that for years, haven't they? But all you have to do is look at the historical numbers. They've been doing it like this every year for 25 years. And that's win or lose. That's whether or not attendance is up or down. There was a couple of instances in those announcements that I was reading where they said, hey, they've raised their prices yet again. in spite of the fact attendance was down 5%. But, today, we've never heard that said more loudly, and especially as it pertains to annual passes. You guys remember, I think it was 2 years ago, the annual price went up by like $120. It was the most crazy price increase that I can ever remember, in terms of it, in terms of scale relative to previous increases. And everybody thought, that's it. That is the bottom line. They just had their biggest attendance year ever. They beat their highest figure by 1.5 million. They drew 18 million people last year. In spite of the prices, in spite of the park closures, with all of basically the rivers of America being closed and stuff just being down all the time. In spite of that, you guys understand. In spite of all that, they had their biggest year. What does that mean? It means that it's not a gouge. They're not doing this to you. They're reacting to the market. Okay, they're reacting. That's all it is. I guess the bottom line of what I'm trying to say is that trying to read anything at all into the price increase is an exercise in futility. It's not a reaction to attendance. It's not a reaction to supply and demand, because I don't believe that pricing is a solution for the crowding issue, the supply and demand issue. The only thing that we can learn from this price increase is that it's February. That's the only inference that we can make. And I guess you're free to object, right? You're free to not enjoy it. I don't enjoy paying, I think it's $800, $850. I don't even know, $850 per pass. I don't enjoy that, but I do because I love Disneyland and I want to do this thing. So there are lots of us out there that are like that. There are lots of people out there, in the comments that we did on the last video, where people said, I'm down. I'm going to keep going. Even if they take away the monthly payments, I'm going to keep doing it. If you want to enjoy your experience at Disneyland, acceptance is the key to happiness in a lot of ways, in a lot of facets of our life. But it's certainly true in going to Disneyland. You have to accept a few things, that you're going to spend a ton of dough and it's going to be crowded. And the sooner you can do those two things, the more magical and the more enjoyable your time is going to be. Again, I get it. I wish that it wasn't expensive. I wish that everybody was able to enjoy Disneyland, at a fee that's affordable by everyone. And I know that Walt wanted that too. You know what? I tell you what, this just gave me an idea because I'm sincere. I really believe this. I really wish that more of you could go to Disneyland. So I'm going to buy one of you guys a ticket, but only if you're watching this video. Only for those. It's a secret between you and me, you guys. Okay, there's 45. There are 62,000 subscribers out there right now, but not all of you are watching, and you should be. You should be watching all the videos because I'm going to give away a ticket to one of you guys who are watching this video and who leave me a comment. You just say whatever. Say I want to go to Disneyland or something like that, and then I'll contact you directly and get your information. I'm just gonna be random. It's not scientific, so I apologize for that. I'm just gonna pick a name out of the comments section, and you guys will get I'm gonna send you a gift card that's enough to get a ticket. How about that? So on that note, guys, thanks for watching, and just try to have some patience and understanding when it comes to these prices, and you're going to have a much more happier experience if and when you do go to Disneyland the next time. We'll see you next time, guys. Fresh baked! We've got lots more for you guys to see, so grab a churro and watch our Star Wars Land updates with the Knothole Gang, or maybe our Secrets and History videos. And we're now at Disney World, so please do subscribe and watch our adventures there. And don't forget, you can support Fresh Baked through our Patreon campaign and get some exclusive benefits in the process. Thank you, everyone. Fresh Baked!